So I want to share that, so we're going to go into relationships today, and relational stances and systems, basically. And it's not a complete overview, obviously. This is a topic, I think self-health has the self-health is the self in the relationship, because the self with an other. So self with other, mother first other. So, yeah, so I just, sharing our mother in terms of sleep and food, starting just with that. And, often we were nursed to rest. And, I'm just sharing something that I was thinking about, which is that eating at the same time, the neuroscientists say it, the body releases preparation hormones, and sleeping at the same time, the body secretes relaxing hormones. In other words, if set times every day, the animal of the body starts to become trained, anticipating regularity. And of course, there could be additional factors why there might be cravings, like menstruation or earth seasons, but this takes away the cravings for the most part when you're on like a cycle. So, the biologists, the neuroscientists, they advocate for these sleep, wake, and eat, digest cycles to be set times. And our sages also advocate for set times for prayer, worship, service, and communion. Perhaps there's also spiritual hormones that can be released, and the spiritual food and rest that could therefore be effective and processed. So I went to a 12-step meeting to workshop this, and, thinking about in terms of relationships, like having a social life, having romantic partnership, and everything to do with family, and peers, and also even professional or classmates. This idea of like avoidance, like titration, because of rejection sensitivity could stop and could prevent in all relationships, because the attraction and the attention and the interaction can come since, thinking of mother, the original security blanket, that's something solid to hold on to, that pacifier from the nursing, and grounding through access to a stable person, and in this direct contact, having dysregulation with closeness and intimacy, and also with space and distance, so feeling too far or too close. And, avoidance is something that does titrate emotions, but rejection sensitivity, which was very painful for a baby, for a small child, is really a fear of abandonment, or the deprivation, withholding, unrequited love, different stages in life. So it's like a default. It made me also, though, be very independent, resourceful, and creative. I don't want to say it as a silver lining. No one should have to go through it. But looking back, because of having a higher power, and in order to connect with a higher power, I feel like it's often, having a God, having a Shem, it's often said as masculine. So I feel like to be present, to be spiritual, to be, in terms of instant gratification versus waiting forever, is often my idea. Like, I relate to God sometimes as like either the man who makes you wait forever and there's no payoff, or there's like the instant gratification, so you don't even get to like really enjoy it. It's just like given right away. So it's like wanting that middle ground. Same with like, too close, too far. So the middle road kind of, and the same with like that direct contact, middle road. And it's that perfect balance, because, humanity versus human form, it's like you could show up in a human body, but is my humanity there? Which would come from a balance of the animal body, like in its training of sleep and food, balance animal with spirit or soul. So, we don't know who's really on the inside of someone else. Is it God, or is it godliness, or is it, a creature? So Divya Robin says there's relationship feelings you should allow, which you may not want to feel. You should allow yourself to feel them, and why. So grief. This is actually going to help a relationship when you feel your grief, because you realize one or both have changed. That's an underlying truth that the person is avoiding, and grief will show us. Grief has a lot of good information. It's important to talk about it, relearn who you are. the relationship is accompanying you in life. It's not meant to keep you only the same. Disappointment is a normal part of a relationship that tells you that there's a gap in what you needed and what happened. And if you ignore that space, an infection can come in, like in the body when there's a gap. Longing is something that, like I mentioned, sometimes maybe we wanted so much and we had to wait forever with no payoff, so we might avoid it. But actually, in a relationship, you can see where you're missing aspects of the relationship and how you want to change the mundane. And resentment, which is like when you actually feel you've been deprived or punished. The idea is that something was unaddressed, a cross boundary, and unmet need. And all of these are opportunities, as we move into the next part, in a relational system for difficult moments. The angry therapist on Instagram says, in relational systems, difficult moments become opportunities for deeper understanding. Triggers become information instead of weapons, and both people are able to remain psychologically present enough to reflect, regulate, communicate, and repair. Over time, this creates what therapists call a corrective emotional experience, where old attachment wounds are not reinforced, but challenged and slowly rewritten through new relational experiences. But not every relationship contains that medicine. Some relationships keep people locked in their defenses. There's too much avoidance, instability, protection, dishonesty, emotional unavailability, or lack of self-awareness for a meaningful repair to happen. Instead, of growth, the relationship reinforces survival patterns. One person may become more anxious, more shut down, more reactive, more disconnected from themselves over time, and so on. And the final part that I wanted to share is from Heartbreak Academy about the 12 most common relationship sabotage for fearful avoidance, which is what I described this wanting to come close but pulling back. It's sort of like the too close and too far. It's not someone who feels comfortable very far. It's not someone who feels comfortable very close. It's that middle, it's that relational stance. So this video is about balance and repair in relational stances as part of a system. So we're not calling here any of the relationships, like you could have this with your peers. You could have this with friends, coworkers, colleagues, and coworkers or colleagues, right? Or even with your neighbors. So one, pursue emotional, deep people and then push them away for needing too much. Two, they seek reassurance when they don't believe it, and they don't believe it when they get it. Three, if you see any of these signs, I see myself in some of them. The man that I was involved with, I see, himself. I guess I'm in a way still involved, but it's changed. In other words, when I was more emotionally connected to him, I felt it was my duty to share this information with him. But now I'm saying I could just accept that some of these apply to him too, and probably to a lot of people, and anyone watching, this was meant to find you too. So they seek reassurance, but they don't believe it once they get it. 3, shut partner out when they need them most, then feel alone and betrayed. 4, mistake stability for boredom or lack of feelings. 5, they overthink and spiral internally, then blame partner for the way they feel. 6, they get triggered by distance and closeness and creating constant push-pull. 7, they mention exes or other people to create jealousy. 8, they pick fights till the partner is exhausted by tension. 9, they hyper-focus on the partner's flaws and provoke fights through sarcasm, criticism, and to prove that they're not a good fit. 10, they mistake their own anxiety for incompatibility. 11, they reject stable, healthy connections because chaos feels more familiar. And 12, they attach too quickly and get scared and withdraw so they don't have to face the hard emotions. A fearful avoidant could be classified as somebody who, or described slightly as somebody who often reads internal discomfort as a sign something's wrong in the relationship, not something happening inside of them. It's like if you're carrying around a ball inside of you everywhere you go, no matter what relationship you're in, the ball will be there. So instead of, pausing, and maybe a person pulls away, tests, doubts, creates distance, and from the outside it could look confusing or inconsistent, but on the inside they're trying to feel safe. These over time can be problems in a relationship that could, really start even shaping the relationship over time as unstable, mistrusting, emotionally fatiguing. But a person could learn how to pause, communicate, and reality check when they start to have that feeling. And that is the repair that can be done. We're going to stop here. Wish you all the best. Bye-bye.